Returning from a business trip, I opened the front door and immediately heard my best friend's voice from the second floor. "Easy there, my queen. You're hurting me." In an instant, my brow furrowed. What the hell was he doing? My footsteps thudded on the stairs, and a panicked shuffle echoed from my bedroom. A moment later, my wife emerged, dressed in sweatpants and a t-shirt, her face a mask of unnatural calm. But the black lace of the stockings peeking out from under her pant leg betrayed the whole charade. My friend, Ryan, followed her out, his face flushed and the tips of his ears glowing red. And just like that, I understood exactly what was happening. I had been in Austin negotiating a contract with our company's largest partner, a week-long trip that I'd managed to cut short by 2 days. The Uber dropped me at the curb of our suburban home. I straightened my suit, a bouquet of roses in one hand and a small box containing a gold necklace in the other, ready to surprise my wife, Sophia. Our second wedding anniversary was just 4 days away, and this little surprise was just the appetizer. I opened the door, my heart full, only to have my best friend Ryan's voice drift down from upstairs. "Easy there, my queen. You're hurting me." The sound hit me like a physical blow. The thorns of the roses I was holding dug into my palm, but I barely felt it. That was definitely Ryan's voice, but in the 15 years I'd known him, I'd never heard him use that tone. Not ever. It was 6 o'clock in the evening. What was he doing in my house? And my queen, was he talking to my wife? A cold dread washed over me as I rushed up the stairs. The sound of my feet on the steps was met with a sudden silence from the bedroom, followed a second later by a frantic, clattering noise. Just as I reached the landing, Sophia stepped out of our bedroom, dressed in casual loungewear. "Oh, Michael, what are you doing home?" Her face was stiff, her smile forced. She leaned against the doorframe, her chest rising and falling rapidly, her breathing unsteady. "Sophia," I said, my voice low, "is Ryan here?" I stared at the woman I had been married to for nearly 2 years, my mind racing with questions. "Oh yeah, he's here. In the room," she stammered, swallowing hard, trying desperately to appear calm. "Why is Ryan in our house right now?" "In our bedroom." My brow tightened, my expression darkening. From the sounds I'd heard, it was almost as if he was robbing the place. "Mike, you're back. Man, you just ruined the surprise Sophia was planning," Ryan said, stepping out. He looked shocked to see me, but before I could speak, his words gave me a moment's pause. The anger on my face receded slightly. "What surprise?" I looked back and forth between them. Ryan was dressed normally, but Sophia's loungewear was disheveled. She was wearing her usual fluffy sheepskin slippers, but the sliver of exposed ankle told me everything. She was wearing black stockings underneath her sweatpants. "Dude, your anniversary is coming up, and you were out of town. Sophia wanted to surprise you with a gift and get it set up. She doesn't know how to install a graphics card, so she called me over to help," Ryan explained with a broad grin. Sophia, as if on cue, suddenly played along. "Yeah, why did you have to come back early? Now my whole surprise is ruined." As she spoke, the panic on her face melted away, replaced by a pouting expression, as if she were the one who was wronged. "Is that right? Well, sorry for being a spoilsport. Since the cat's out of the bag, let's see this new graphics card." I forced a laugh and walked past them into the bedroom, my eyes fixed on the computer tower. But the moment I took in the state of the room, the smile vanished from my face. I walked over to the PC to inspect the new hardware, my movement stiff. The comforter was thrown on the floor in a heap. The room was lit only by a dim, warm-toned lamp. My gaze drifted from the computer case to the corner of the bed. A black leather belt was pinned under the mattress, with just the tip sticking out, as if in defiance. My jaw clenched. A hot rage shot through me. "So what do you think, honey? Do you like your surprise?" Sophia stepped in front of me, blocking my view, a sickeningly sweet smile plastered on her face. I forced the anger down, mechanically turning my head to glance at the brand new 8090 graphics card installed in the case. "I love it," I said, the words squeezed through gritted teeth. How could I not love such a big surprise for my wife? "I'm so glad you like it. Come on, let's go downstairs. I made you something special to eat." She grabbed my arm and started pulling me out of the room. Her desperate attempt to cover things up only fueled the fire burning inside me. Downstairs in the dining room, I sat at the table, one eyebrow arched high. spicy chili, Nashville hot chicken, jalapeno poppers, and a side of sautéed greens with garlic. There wasn't a single dish on the table that I liked. But as it happened, Ryan loved spicy food. The three main dishes were all scorchers. It was painfully obvious who this meal was prepared for. Wow, Sophia, you're amazing. A real master chef. I'm so jealous of Mike, Ryan gushed, sitting down and praising her enthusiastically. Sophia blushed, a faint red creeping up her cheeks. Oh, stop. Just eat. Normally, I would have understood. It's perfectly reasonable to offer dinner to a friend who comes over to help. But Sophia's words were a load of crap. She claimed she'd prepared a special meal for me, yet everything was tailored to Ryan's taste. Unbelievable. I watched them, stone-faced, as they started eating. I didn't move a muscle. After a few moments, Sophia looked up, her expression a mixture of embarrassment and panic. Honey, I'll go make a couple more dishes. I forgot you can't eat spicy food. She scrambled to get up and head to the kitchen. I reached out and grabbed her arm. Don't bother. It's been a while. I think I'll see what this spice thing is all about. Forcing another smile, I picked up my fork, speared a piece of the hot chicken, and put it in my mouth. The fiery heat exploded on my tongue, spreading like wildfire. Sophia tried to stop me, but it was too late. Michael, no. You can't. You're allergic to capsaicin, she shrieked, running to the medicine cabinet to find the emergency epinephrine injector. I gritted my teeth as red hives began to bloom on my neck and spread down my body. The allergic reaction was instantaneous. Jesus, Mike, are you insane? Ryan yelled, jumping to his feet, wide-eyed and panicking. After all our years as friends, he knew about my allergy, but had never seen it happen. This was the first time. Ryan, quick, roll up his sleeve. I need to give him a shot. Sophia cried, rushing back, her face pale with worry and beads of sweat forming on her forehead. The shot worked quickly. My breathing eased, and the red hives slowly began to fade. Michael Keller, are you out of your goddamn mind? Slap. As if overcome with anger, Sophia slapped me hard across the face. I had just regained some of my strength and slumped back in the chair, staring at her without a word. Mike, you scared the hell out of me. Why would you eat that knowing you're so allergic? Ryan said, coming over and patting my shoulder, his face a mask of concern. But deep in his eyes, I saw a flicker of something else. Something murderous. It's been years. We have an EpiPen. What's the big deal? I had a craving. I mumbled, waving a dismissive hand. My strength slowly returned. I pushed myself up from the chair and, ignoring both of them, staggered upstairs. Sophia didn't even make a move to help me. By the time I reached the second floor, I could already hear their cheerful laughter as they resumed their meal. My fists clenched. I took a deep breath and walked into the master bedroom. Our bedroom. I lifted the corner of the mattress. Lingerie and an assortment of sex toys were haphazardly stashed underneath. My fists tightened again. I pulled out my phone and started recording a video. After documenting the evidence, I went into my home office, the pain in my chest so sharp I had to gasp for air. What's so great about Ryan? I slammed my fist into the back of my office chair. The soft cushion absorbed the blow without a sound. But I wasn't going to be like that cushion. I wasn't going to sit back and silently take this. Right now, this collection of toys wasn't enough to confront them. I needed more. I needed irrefutable proof. Calming myself, I called the head of our company's corporate counsel. David, be in my office first thing tomorrow morning. I have something I need you to handle. You got it, Mr. Keller. After hanging up, I listened to the sounds from downstairs. About half an hour later, Ryan finally left. The soft pat-pat-pat of Sophia's slippers came up the stairs. 5 minutes later, she knocked on the office door, holding a glass of milk. Honey, Ryan's gone. How are you feeling? Here, drink some milk. She glided into the room, her movements sultry. She had changed into a silk robe with a dangerously high slit, her eyes practically smoldering. I'm not thirsty. I have some follow-up to do with the team. Now that the deal is signed, we need to hit the ground running. I kept my eyes glued to my laptop screen, not even turning my head. Apparently, our earlier interruption had left her unsatisfied because she wrapped her arms around my neck from behind. I need to work right now. Can you not? I said, finally turning to face her, my brow furrowed as I fought back a wave of disgust. Okay. You work, honey. You can. Take care of me when you're done, she cooed, pouting playfully. Seeing my dark expression, she backed off, placing the glass of milk on my desk before sashaying out of the room. I stared at the milk, replaying her behavior in my head. A bitter feeling rose in my throat. Why? What on earth did he do to steal the woman I had dated for 3 years and been married to for almost 2? I didn't go back to the bedroom that night. I slept in the office. In the morning, I left for work before Sophia even woke up. And on the way to the office, I pulled up alongside another car at a stoplight. It was my best friend, Ryan, on his way to my company. His car was right next to mine. The only difference was he had a driver. I always preferred to drive myself. At the company parking garage, I parked my car and waited, watching Ryan get out of his. "Mike, you're in early today," he said, walking over and slinging an arm around my shoulders with the same familiar, easygoing smile as always. It was as if nothing had happened yesterday. "Yeah, well, I just closed the deal with Summit Dynamics. Gotta strike while the iron's hot. I'm the CEO, after all. Not like you, a carefree shareholder with nothing to do," I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. I shrugged his arm off and walked briskly into the building. Ryan didn't follow immediately. I didn't care. I had too much to deal with. In my office, David Chun, the head of our legal department, was already waiting, scrolling through his phone. "David, you don't have to be so formal with me." "Sit down," I said. He grinned and took a seat on the sofa. "So, Mr. Keller, what can I do for you?" I took my time, sitting down at my desk and taking a long, deep breath. "2 things today. First, the contract with Summit Dynamics. I need that finalized and executed ASAP, within 2 days if possible. This is with their parent company, not some subsidiary, so I want to make sure we're showing them the proper respect. Business first. Always. You can count on me. I'll get it done. Of course, it will need your final review, so I can't guarantee a specific time. I might have to bother you after hours," David said tactfully. "That's fine. Call me anytime, 24/7. If for some reason I don't answer, call this number." I texted him Sophia's number. This deal was too important to be delayed. "Got it." "Second thing," I said, my tone turning serious. "I need you to handle this one personally. Keep it out of the department." "Of course, Mr. Keller. Whatever you need." My lips are sealed. David didn't hesitate, patting his chest in assurance. That's why I like you," I said with a faint smile. I began to slowly lay out the whole story. As I spoke, David's mouth hung open in disbelief. "Mr. Keller, I'm sorry you're going through this. I never thought something like this would happen to a guy like you." "Cut the crap," I said, though our relationship was casual enough for the remark. "I'm planning to divorce her, and I want to make sure she walks away with nothing. Any ideas? All I have is some circumstantial evidence." David and I were close. He'd been with me for 6 years, since the very beginning of the company. Legally speaking, it's straightforward. You need concrete proof of the affair, then you file. With evidence of infidelity, it's pretty much a slam dunk in court. When it came to the law, David was the expert. The problem is, I know she's cheating, but I can't catch them in the act. I know a private investigator, a college buddy of mine. He was a judge for 2 years until some lowlife he sentenced came after him. He quit and became AP. He's the real deal. Want to give him a shot." David looked at me, pulling up a number on his phone and holding it out. "A private investigator. The Gilded Bean Coffee Shop." I sat in a private booth, staring at the man across from me, who wore a baseball cap and a surgical mask. "A little paranoid, don't you think?" "Learn my lesson. Better safe than sorry," the man replied, his voice muffled. He cut right to the chase. "David sent you," said to his boss. "What's the job?" "I need you to follow my wife. I need proof she's cheating. She's sleeping with my best friend. I've already seen enough to know it's happening, but I don't have the kind of hard evidence that will hold up in court." The story came pouring out of me. It felt like I was venting to a therapist. Half an hour later, I finally stopped, the coffee in my cup long since cold. The bitterness was overwhelming. I hadn't added any sugar. I downed it in one gulp, my eyes red as I slowly regained my composure. "I get it. Man, that's rough. Your best friend of all people. What a scumbag the I said, shaking his head. His tone shifted instantly to business. "I'll take the case. I need $5,000 for a retainer. The rest we'll calculate based on what I can deliver." "Sound good." "Deal." We settled on the price. I gave him all the information on Sophia and Ryan, including photos and my contact details. He could call or text anytime. That night, I sat in my home office, looking at the company's equity structure on my laptop. When I founded the company, Ryan had invested capital, but not his time. That money was a lifesaver back then, which is why he ended up with a 20% stake. I held 45%, having poured my lifeblood into the business. The remaining shares were scattered among other partners, with no one else holding more than 10%. Knock, knock, knock. The office door opened, and Sophia came in holding a glass of milk. "Working late again, honey?" she asked, draping her arms around my neck and placing the milk on the desk. She pressed her body against mine. "No choice. This partnership is a huge deal. Even with my team on it, our new partner's VP is in constant contact with me, checking on the progress." I fed her a plausible lie and gently guided her out of the office. So as not to arouse suspicion, I drank the milk she brought. Tonight, I decided to sleep in our bedroom. "Babe, I have a company dinner tomorrow night. I might not be home," I said, pulling her close as we lay in bed. "Oh, okay. Well, be careful and don't drink too much." We held each other as we slept. It would be the last time. The next morning, I ate breakfast and left. I didn't go to the office. The dinner was just an excuse. I checked into a hotel and sent a text to the P. "You're clear to proceed." He replied almost instantly with an okay. I turned on the TV and started scrolling through channels, waiting for news. It didn't take long. A text came in from a P. "I'm going to call your wife and tell her I'm a technician sent by you to check the wiring in the house. You should give her a heads up so she lets me in. I'm going to plant some cameras." I replied, "Okay," and then sent Sophia a quick voice message. 2 hours later, the P. Send me a link." I clicked it, downloaded an app, and logged in with the credentials he provided. Instantly, 8 different camera feeds filled my screen. He had covered my entire house. The living room, from the perspective of the projector. The master bedroom, hidden in the wall clock. The guest room, the office, the upstairs hallway, the balcony, the downstairs entryway. Everywhere but the bathrooms. I sent him a thumbs-up emoji. Impressive. The footage was set to auto-record and saved to a cloud server. I just had to pay for the storage space. I watched on the feed as the P. Left my house. I also discovered that the cameras recorded audio. This guy didn't mess around. Around noon, Sophia got a call. It was Ryan. "Hey, Ryan. Michael said he has a work dinner tonight and won't be home. Are you going?" Sophia asked, sitting on our bed. I could hear her perfectly. "A dinner? I don't know anything about it." "He didn't tell me," Ryan replied. Sophia had him on speaker. "Well, that's what he told me. He's the CEO. He has those things all the time. It's probably legit. He's been swamped with this new partnership, calling David Chun from legal every 5 minutes. I wouldn't worry about it." Ryan's analysis made me snort with derision from my hotel room. Good. They were still on their toes, which meant I hadn't given anything away. "So, are you going to come over tonight? I haven't let him touch me for days. I miss you." Her words made my fist clench so hard my knuckles cracked. What an absolute tramp. She had no shame. You do, baby. You miss me that much, all right? But we have to go out. We can't do it at the house. What if he pulls a U-turn and comes home? We'd be screwed." They quickly decided on a location. And, as luck would have it, the hotel they chose was the very one I was staying in. This was my chance to catch them red-handed. Ping, a text from a P. Go time." I replied with a single word, "Yes." I watched the monitor as Sophia hung up the phone, giddy with excitement. She practically skipped as she went to her closet to pick out a dress and do her makeup. I once saw a meme online that said, "Oh my God, I think my wife is dating someone." I thought it was hilarious at the time. Now, the bitter irony was suffocating. I was living it. I put down my phone, took the elevator down to the lobby, and walked to the front desk. "Hi, I need to speak with your hotel manager, please. It's urgent." A few minutes later, a man in a crisp suit approached me. "I'm a manager. How can I help you?" "I'd like to book out your entire hotel for the day," I said, pulling him aside to explain the situation. "Every room, every facility. Name your price." A moment later, the manager looked up at me, his face a mixture of shock and admiration. "Dude," he said, shaking his head, "you are one stone-cold son of a bitch. I'll help you. $50,000 should cover it, the manager said. We have 3 presidential suites that drive up the price. I transferred the money instantly. For the next 24 hours, the entire hotel was mine. I spoke with the front desk staff, showed them photos of Ryan and Sophia, and gave them their instructions. Aside from this couple, no other guests were to be admitted today. The official story was that the hotel was fully booked. I also gave each of them a $100 bill for their trouble. Back in my room, I texted the P. Again, can you do a deep dive on Ryan Vance for me? I remember him having issues with tax evasion. With his 20% dividend from my company, he's supposed to pay a fortune in taxes every year. He's too cheap for that. Ryan had been audited by the IRS a couple of years back for tax fraud and was ordered to pay back taxes. A guy like that doesn't just change his ways. No problem. I'm on it. The P.I.'s work with Sophia was essentially done. His plan was simple, but brilliant, something I never would have thought of. It was lucky, too. If they had discovered the cameras, or if Sophia had called Ryan from outside the house, the whole thing might have failed. But I had underestimated her desperation. I had barely set the trap, and she had jumped right in. Time crawled by. Night fell. It was 7:30 p.m., the time Sophia and Ryan had arranged to meet at the Crestwood Hotel. At 7:45 p.m., I got a text from the front desk clerk. It was a short, 30-second security video clip. The stars of the show were Ryan and Sophia, checking in at the front desk. They were holding hands, wearing matching outfits, looking for all the world like a happy couple. It made me feel like I was the other man. 5th floor, room 1802. A man whose dividends were in the millions, and he books a standard room. Pathetic. I smirked and continued to wait. I decided I'd go over at 8:10 p.m. They checked in a little before 8. Even if they skipped a shower, they wouldn't get started until 8 o'clock. Unless Ryan was a two-pump chump, my timing would be perfect to catch them in the act. I opened my phone, went to Instagram, and started a live broadcast. The title, Exposing My Cheating Wife Live. The stream immediately had over 100 viewers. The comments section exploded with questions. I kept my face out of the frame, wearing a mask and glasses as I explained the situation. The viewers erupted in a chorus of outrage, calling Sophia and Ryan every name in the book. I decided I would show my face right before I went in. I waited another 15 minutes. 8:10 p.m. Showtime. The stream now had over 20,000 viewers. It had gone viral before the main event even started. I took off my mask and glasses. All right, everyone, you are all my witnesses tonight. With that, I stood up, got in the elevator, took a deep breath, and pressed the button for the 5th floor. Ding! The doors slid open. Holding my phone up, I walked slowly toward room 1802. The door was shut tight. I pressed my ear against it, but heard nothing. The soundproofing was impressive, but it didn't matter. I had a key. Right now, I had a key to every room in this hotel. The key card beeped green. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The sounds and the rank atmosphere of sex hit me immediately. They were so absorbed, they didn't even hear me come in. My live stream chat went insane. The viewer count shot past 100,000. The comments were a blur of people telling me to go, to bust them. This was it. No turning back. I took another step forward, positioning myself right next to the bed. The noise must have finally registered. Sophia was the first to open her eyes. The moment she saw me, I could read the sequence of emotions in her beautiful eyes. Panic, shock, then pure, unadulterated terror. Thud! I kicked Ryan, naked and exposed, off the bed. This is how you betray me. You disgusting animals. At that moment, I snapped. The rage exploded in my head. After kicking Ryan, I spun around and slapped Sophia hard across the face. You bitch! Tell me why. Why him? Why Ryan? I screamed, completely losing control, demanding to understand. Michael, let me explain. It's a misunderstanding. Sophia cried, clutching the sheets to her chest, her cheek already swelling as tears streamed down her face. Ha ha! Explain? A misunderstanding, and you have the nerve to play the victim? I raised my hand to strike her again, but Ryan, also naked, scrambled up and grabbed my wrist. Mike, let's talk this out, man. Don't hit her. She can't take it. Hearing that, I burst out laughing. A cold, harsh sound. Ryan, do you have any idea what I'm doing right now? Yeah, I know. Wham! The moment the words left his mouth, I kneed him in the stomach, sending him doubling over. and you still have the balls to talk to me? The only reason I haven't killed you is because I'm being merciful. I roar, my eyes bloodshot. I had tossed my phone onto the nightstand. The live stream was still running, and I had screen recording on. Everything was being documented. I planned it all out. I hadn't wanted to get violent, but I just couldn't hold back. Michael, please listen to me. It was Ryan. He forced me. You have to believe me. He forced me. Sophia scrambled off the bed, naked, and fell to her knees, clutching my legs, her face a mess of tears and pleas. Forced you? A misunderstanding. Ha ha. You are unbelievable. You'll say anything to shift the blame, won't you? Her words only made me laugh harder. This woman was so far gone, still trying to spin lies, even at a time like this. I tried to shake her off, but her grip was like iron. Fine. Hold on if you want. It doesn't matter anymore. Buzz. My phone vibrated. The live stream had been shut down. It was fine. I had the recording. Sophia, I didn't force you to do anything. You came on to me. Do you think I would have ever thought about you that way? You're my best friend's wife. Ryan said from the floor, wiping a smear of blood from his nose. His tone was suddenly cavalier, as if he had nothing left to lose. Besides, even if you leave him, I can take care of you. What are you so afraid of? He yelled, getting to his feet and shouting angrily at Sophia, who was still crying at my feet. That was it. His arrogance in this situation sent my rage into overdrive. I shook Sophia off with a violent shove, lunged forward, and threw myself at Ryan. You piece of shit. Ryan was no match for me. My fists rained down on him until he was curled into a ball on the floor, his face already swollen into an unrecognizable mess. Call the cops, he sputtered. I didn't stop him. Soon, the police arrived and took all three of us down to the station. In the interrogation room, I recounted the events exactly as they had happened. The officer taking my statement gave me a sympathetic look, told me to wait, and left the room. About half an hour later, he returned. Mr. Keller, while your wife was clearly in the wrong, you did assault Mr. Vance. He's demanding you cover his medical expenses and pay for pain and suffering. A total of $10,000. The officer shook his head and clapped me on the shoulder. That's fine, officer. As long as I don't have to do any jail time, I'll pay it, I said, breathing a sigh of relief. A criminal record would complicate everything. Luckily, his injuries weren't severe enough to warrant felony charges. After the paperwork was done, I walked out of the police station. Ryan and Sophia were released shortly after. It seemed Ryan had managed to talk Sophia around. She was calm, composed, as if the events of the evening had never happened. Ha ha ha, Mike. Those punches cost you 10 grand. How's your hand feeling? Ha ha ha. Ryan taunted me, his arrogance on full display. His driver pulled up, and they both got in the car and sped off. I hailed a cab and went back to the hotel. I had almost everything I needed. I was still waiting to hear from the P.I. Ryan must have hidden his financial records well. The next morning, I went to the courthouse and filed for divorce. They accepted the petition quickly and served Sophia with the papers that same day. The court date was set for 2 days later. I didn't go home once. I stayed at the hotel, compiling all the evidence into a single, organized file, and waited. Bang! Order in the court. In the courtroom, Sophia was shouting, refusing to agree to the divorce, completely ignoring the judge. Finally, the judge slammed his gavel, and she fell silent. Ms. Keller, your husband has submitted comprehensive evidence of your infidelity. The court has verified all materials and found no signs of digital alteration or forgery. All evidence is therefore admissible. Do you have anything to say in your defense? The judge asked, frowning at the now subdued Sophia. No. For some reason, after hearing the judge's words, she became oddly quiet. Very well. Since the defendant has no objection, this court hereby rules. The verdict was swift. Given the irrefutable evidence of adultery, the court ruled in my favor. Sophia would walk away with nothing but a one-time payment of $50,000 for living expenses. It was a pittance I offered out of pity for the years we'd spent together. Holding the divorce decree in my hand, I felt no joy. I still hadn't heard from the P.I. Across the room, Ryan was comforting Sophia, a smirk on his face. Soon, I saw a smile return to hers as well. Michael, I'll be just fine without you. Ryan truly loves me, Unlike you, gone half the month on business trips. You could never understand how lonely I was, but someone else could. Sophia spat at me as we stood at the courthouse entrance, Ryan's arm wrapped protectively around her. I wish you all the happiness you deserve, I said with a cold smile. My hands didn't stop moving as I sent a text to the P.I., asking for an update. His reply was immediate. Just be patient. Let the other shoe drop. 10 ping. That was the P.I.'s instant reply. I frowned, and as I looked up, I saw two men in navy blue windbreakers with IRS printed on the back walking directly toward Ryan, holding a pair of silver handcuffs. Hey, what do you think you're doing? The moment he saw the federal agents, Ryan's calm, arrogant demeanor shattered. He panicked, shoving Sophia aside and making a run for it. The agents were professionals. In a flash, they tackled him and pinned him to the ground. Ryan Vance, this isn't your first time committing tax fraud. You were given a warning, yet you knowingly and repeatedly broke the law. Over the past 2 years, you've evaded over $5 million in taxes. You're coming with us. As the agent's words echoed in the air, Sophia froze, her face a mask of horror. No! Amid Ryan's desperate screams, the handcuffs clicked shut. The silver metal caught the sun, flashing a brilliant light across my face, as if to remind me that justice, in the end, is always served. I ignored Sophia's stunned gaze and walked away from the courthouse without a backward glance. Back at the office, I spent the rest of the day delegating all my responsibilities to my department heads. I needed to get away for a while. After everything that had happened, I had no desire to stay here. I bought a one-way ticket to Anchorage and took the red-eye flight straight to Alaska. When I stepped out of the airport, the piercingly cold wind bit at my cheeks. Ping! A text message from a P.I. Buddy, I submitted all the evidence of Ryan's tax evasion to the feds. It was way more than $5 million. Your friend was a real piece of work. Job's done. Final payment is $30,000. Settle up. I smiled faintly and transferred the money to his account. Waking up the next morning, I saw the news. Ryan Vance, for massive tax fraud, was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison. All of his civil rights were revoked. Seeing the headline, I immediately called my office and instructed the board to begin buying back all of Ryan's now forfeited shares. In the end, I acquired another 15%. As the first rays of sunlight painted the snow-capped mountains crimson, I deleted all the evidence from my phone. It was over. The reflection of the sun on the vast, icy landscape blurred, and for a moment, it looked like a million crying eyes. In the distance, the howl of the wind and the faint, residual echo of a police siren from my memory merged into a strange, discordant harmony. I clutched the cold, steel divorce decree in my pocket and finally understood fate's cruel joke. Some truths are better left in the dark.